Welcome to Real English Voices.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the space where we don't just learn English, we live it.
That is exactly right, Ria. We live it. Today is a very special episode. It is not about grammar rules, it is not about vocabulary lists, it is about something much deeper.
It feels heavy, doesn't it? But in a good way. Today, we're talking about becoming the new you. We're talking about letting go. We're talking about leveling up.
I love that phrase, leveling up. It sounds like a video game, but it is actually the story of our lives. I was thinking about this on my way to the studio today. I was thinking about how many of our listeners feel stuck. They feel like they have been at the same level of English for years.
Oh, I know that feeling so well. It's the plateau. It's that frustrating place where you study and study, but you feel like you're not moving forward. It's like running on a treadmill. You're sweating, you're working hard, but the scenery never changes.
That is a perfect metaphor, the treadmill. But here's the question, Ria. Why are we stuck? Is it because we do not know enough words? Is it because we do not know the present perfect tense? I don't think so.
I agree. I think it's deeper. I think it's about identity.
Identity? Tell me more about that.
Well, think about it. When we start learning English, we create an identity for ourselves. We label ourselves as the student or the learner. We tell ourselves, I'm sorry, my English is bad. We apologize for our existence in the language. And we carry that identity for years. Even when we get better, we still feel like that scared beginner inside.
Wow, that hits hard. We apologize for our existence in the language. You're absolutely right. I hear it all the time. People come up to me and they speak beautiful, complex sentences, and then they finish by saying, "Sorry, I know my English is terrible." It breaks my heart.
It is heartbreaking because they're not seeing reality. They're seeing the past. They're seeing the old you. And that brings us to the first pillar of today's conversation, letting go.
Letting go. It sounds easy, but it is one of the hardest things a human being can do. What do we need to let go of, Ria, if we want to really level up our English and our lives? What is the baggage we need to drop?
First, we have to let go of the perfectionist.
The perfectionist, the enemy of progress.
Exactly. The perfectionist is that little voice in your head that says, if you cannot say it perfectly, do not say it at all. It's the voice that makes you freeze in a meeting. It's the voice that makes you stay silent at a party because you're afraid of using the wrong preposition.
I have a confession to make.
Oh, I love confessions.
I still have that voice, even as a native speaker, even as a teacher. Sometimes I'm in a conversation, maybe I'm speaking a second language like Spanish, and I freeze. I know the word, but I'm terrified that my accent will sound silly. And do you know what happens? I stay quiet, and the moment passes, and I feel smaller.
You feel smaller. That's such a powerful way to describe it. When we give in to fear, we shrink. We take up less space.
Exactly. And becoming the new you means taking up space. It means saying, I am here. I have a voice. I might make a mistake, but I matter.
So how do we do it? How do we kill the perfectionist?
I don't think we kill him. I think we just stop inviting him to the meeting. We have to change our relationship with mistakes. We have to look at a mistake not as a failure, but as data.
Data. I like that. Explain.
Okay, so if you say something and the other person looks confused, that's just information. It tells you, okay, that pronunciation didn't work. Let me try a different way. It's not a judgment on your soul, it's just feedback. But we take it so personally. We think, oh no, they think I'm stupid.
We project our own insecurities onto them. Usually, the other person is just trying to understand. They're not judging, they're just listening.
Precisely. So step one of leveling up is letting go of the need to be perfect. Step two, I think, is letting go of the translator.
The translator? You mean translating everything in your head from your native language?
Yes, that safety blanket. We hold on to our native language so tightly because it feels safe. It's our home. But you can't discover a new land if you never leave the shore. You have to cut the rope. You have to trust that you can think in English, even if it's simple English.
That's scary, though. It feels like falling without a parachute.
It does, but that's where the magic happens. That's where the new you lives. The new you is the version of you that trusts your brain to find the way.
I remember when I first started feeling like the new me in English. It wasn't when I passed a test. It wasn't when I learned a fancy word like ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous. Good word.
It is a great word. But no, the moment I felt different was when I made a joke in English and people laughed. And I didn't plan the joke, it just came out. I wasn't translating, I was just being.
That is the flow state. That is the holy grail. And you only got there because you let go of the control. You let go of the rigid structure and just allowed yourself to play.
Play! We forget to play. Children learn so fast because they play. Adults learn slowly because we work. We treat English like a job. We treat it like a chore. I must do my homework. No, I get to express myself.
That brings us to the concept of leveling up. If letting go is dropping the heavy backpack, leveling up is starting to run. How do we level up our mindset?
I think it starts with visualization. This might sound a bit spiritual for an English podcast, but I believe in it. You have to visualize the English speaker you want to be.
Not spiritual at all. It's psychology. Athletes do it. Musicians do it.
Right. So close your eyes for a second. Imagine yourself walking into a room. Maybe it is a business meeting. Maybe it is a cafe in London or New York. How do you walk? How do you stand? When you open your mouth, what does your voice sound like? Is it shaky or is it deep and resonant?
I am imagining it right now. I see myself calm. I see myself smiling. I'm not rushing my words.
Exactly. That person you are imagining, that is the new you. That person already exists inside you. You just haven't given them permission to come out yet.
Giving yourself permission, that is huge. I think a lot of our listeners feel like they're faking it if they act confident. They feel like imposters.
Imposter syndrome is real. Who am I to speak English like a native? Who am I to use these idioms? I'm just a student.
We have to rewrite that script. You have to fake it until you make it. But I actually prefer fake it until you become it.
Yes. You know, actors do this. When an actor plays a king, they don't actually become a king, but for those 2 hours on stage, they believe they are royalty. And because they believe it, the audience believes it. We need to be actors. We need to put on the costume of the fluent speaker.
So, practically speaking, what does this look like? Does it mean changing your posture?
Absolutely. Body language is 80% of communication. If you're hunched over, looking at the floor, apologizing with your eyes, your English will sound weak, even if your grammar is perfect. But if you stand tall, make eye contact, and project your voice, your English will sound better, even if you make mistakes.
It's confidence hacking. You're hacking your own brain. When you stand confidently, your brain releases different chemicals. You actually think clearer.
So leveling up isn't just about memorizing more phrasal verbs, although we love phrasal verbs here at Real English Voices.
We do. We really do. But you're right. You can know all the phrasal verbs in the dictionary, but if you don't have the courage to use them, they're useless. They're like tools locked in a shed. We need to open the shed.
Let's talk about the environment for a moment. Part of leveling up is changing your surroundings.
Oh, this is crucial. You cannot heal in the same environment where you got sick, and you cannot grow if your environment is keeping you small.
A lot of people say, but Ria, I don't live in an English-speaking country. I live in Brazil or Japan or Germany. How can I change my environment?
And what do you tell them?
I tell them that their phone is an environment, their laptop is an environment, their car is an environment. What are you listening to? What are you reading? Who do you follow on Instagram?
That is so true. If you wake up and the first thing you see is content in your native language, and then you listen to radio in your native language, and then you watch TV in your native language, of course it's hard to switch to English. You're making your brain do heavy lifting.
Leveling up means curating your life. It means being intentional. It means saying, okay, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., my world is English. No excuses.
It's about immersion, but artificial immersion. You build the bubble yourself.
And inside that bubble, you are the new you. You are the version of yourself that loves challenges.
I want to go back to something we touched on earlier, the emotional side of this. We talked about letting go of the past, but what about the grief?
Grief? That's a strong word.
It is, but I think there's a sadness in letting go of who we used to be. When you become fluent in a second language, your personality changes a little bit. Have you noticed that?
Oh, definitely. My English personality is different from my native personality. In English, I think I am a bit more direct, maybe a bit louder. In my native language, I am softer.
That is fascinating.
At first, I felt guilty about it. I felt like I was betraying my culture or my true self. But then I realized I am not losing myself. I'm expanding myself. I'm becoming more complex.
That is a beautiful perspective. You're not replacing the old you, you're adding a new layer. You are becoming a high-definition version of yourself.
Yes, we are upgrading the software. The hardware is the same, but the operating system is brand new.
So let's look at the listeners right now. They're listening to us. Maybe they're walking the dog. Maybe they're on the bus. They want this change. They want to wake up tomorrow and feel different. What is the first step they take today?
The first step is a decision.
A decision.
Yes, you have to decide that you are done with the old narrative. You have to look in the mirror and say, I am no longer a struggling student. I am a communicator. It sounds simple, but everything starts with a mindset shift.
I agree. And then do something that scares you.
Yes, do something that makes your heart beat a little faster.
Send that voice message to a foreign friend. Post that comment on a YouTube video in English. Record yourself speaking for 1 minute and listen to it.
Ugh, listening to your own voice is painful.
It is excruciating, but it is the fastest way to grow. It forces you to face reality. And usually the reality is not as bad as you think. Usually you listen and think, hey, I actually sound pretty good. I understood that.
And if you hear a mistake?
You celebrate it.
Celebrate it?
Yes, you say, aha, I found a weak spot. Now I can fix it. If you hide from your mistakes, you can never fix them. Exposure is the cure.
I love that attitude. Exposure is the cure. We spend so much time hiding our accent, hiding our grammar. But when we hide, we suffocate our potential.
Let's talk about the long game. Becoming the new you doesn't happen overnight. It's not a movie montage.
Right. We don't just put on upbeat music, study for 3 minutes, and suddenly we're fluent. It's messy. It's non-linear. Some days you'll feel like a genius. Some days you'll feel like you have forgotten everything.
Those bad days, those are the most important days.
Why?
Because those are the days that test your commitment. Anyone can study when they feel motivated. Anyone can speak when they feel confident. But can you show up when you feel tired? Can you speak when you feel stupid? That is what separates the people who level up from the people who quit.
Resilience. That is the word. We need emotional resilience.
Exactly. English is not just an intellectual pursuit. It's an emotional marathon. You have to be kind to yourself.
Self-compassion. I think that's the secret ingredient we forget. We are so hard on ourselves. We say things to ourselves that we would never say to a friend. If your friend made a grammar mistake, would you say, "You're an idiot. You will never learn"?
Never. I would say, hey, good try. You almost got it.
But we say the nasty stuff to ourselves all day long. So becoming the new you means becoming your own best friend. It means changing the internal dialogue.
I want to challenge our listeners to monitor their thoughts for the next 24 hours. Just notice what you say to yourself when you're struggling with English.
And when you hear that negative voice, the old you talking, just gently interrupt it. Say, "No, that's the old script. We are writing a new script now."
I like the idea of writing a script. We are the authors of our own lives. We can write a character who is brave. We can write a character who is articulate.
And the amazing thing about language is that it actually rewires your brain. This is scientific fact. Neuroplasticity. When you learn a new way to speak, you are physically changing the structure of your mind. You're keeping your brain young and flexible.
So, in a way, becoming the new you is physically true. You are building new highways in your brain. You are connecting parts of yourself that were never connected before.
That is so exciting. It makes all the struggle worth it.
It really does. You know, Ria, looking back at my own journey, not just with language, but with life, the moments where I leveled up were always preceded by a moment of letting go. I had to let go of a job to find a career I loved. I had to let go of bad relationships to find good ones. And in language, I had to let go of my ego.
The ego. The ego wants to be right. The ego wants to look smart.
And the learner needs to be humble. The learner needs to be willing to look foolish.
It is a paradox. To become a master, you have to be willing to be a fool.
Quote of the day right there. To become a master, you have to be willing to be a fool.
I think I read that somewhere. I can't take credit. But it is true. The new you is a person who is not afraid of looking foolish because they know that the destination is worth the awkward journey.
So, let's summarize for everyone listening. We have covered a lot of ground today.
We have. We talked about letting go of perfectionism and the translator in our heads.
We talked about leveling up by visualizing our future selves and changing our physical environment.
We talked about the emotional shift, becoming your own best friend and rewriting the internal script.
And we talked about the identity shift, stopping the apology, stopping the "I am sorry my English is bad."
If you take one thing away from this episode, let it be that. Stop apologizing. Start communicating.
The world wants to hear what you have to say. They don't care about your grammar as much as you think they do. They care about your ideas, your stories, your heart.
Your voice matters. That is why we call this podcast Real English Voices, because your real voice, with its accent, with its pauses, with its unique texture, that is beautiful.
The new you is not a robot. The new you is just you, but amplified. You, but unblocked.
I feel motivated just talking about this. I feel like I want to go learn a new language right now.
Go for it. But for our listeners, the task is right here. English. It is a tool for liberation. Use it.
As we wrap up, I want to ask everyone to take a deep breath. Seriously, do it now. Breathe in and breathe out.
Let go of the tension. Let go of the old stress.
And as you breathe in, imagine you're breathing in that new confidence, that new identity.
You are ready. You have always been ready. It's just time to step up.
Level up.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. It is always a pleasure, Ria.
The pleasure is mine, Tom. And thank you to everyone listening. You are the reason we do this. Keep going, keep growing.
And remember, every time you speak, you're voting for the person you want to become.
Beautiful. See you next time on Real English Voices.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.